What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a good day or night whenever you're watching this. Gonna do a little bit of a ramble or rant video today. Probably more of a ramble, I guess I'd classify it as, but gonna talk about why I actually would be hesitant to retire early, or retire too early, I should say. And I'll get into it, but I want to make my typical disclaimer that none of this is financial, legal, or tax advice. I'm not a licensed professional, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Do your own research. I did want to have something on the screen, even though I'm going to be rambling, so I'm just playing a game here. It's like a knockoff tower defense game. But yeah, so a lot of you have probably seen my other videos about like retirement projections and investing and yada yada yada. And obviously the intention with all of this is that I will be able to be financially set at some point, and I think that's most people's goal, and then ultimately retire. And with that kind of comes the question of like, when is enough? When do you have enough? When do you want to retire? What will you do when you retire? There's a lot of questions that I don't think people necessarily ask themselves or explore. And it's always something that I've kind of thought about, and I think my mind has bounced back and forth on it, but I wanted to kind of consolidate my, ideas here on what I think of the whole situation. I mean, financial independence, retire early, the FIRE movement is a big thing. Probably, hit its peak a couple years ago in terms of like popularity, but a lot of people have heard of it now. People are more conscious of work-life balance, etc. But I do think there are some negatives to retiring early, and I think I'll touch on those, and then, obviously touch on the benefits, and maybe the things that I see as the solution to that, and then finally, like, my thoughts or what I think I'll end up doing. So, on the negative side, I do think it can actually be bad for your health. So, let me explain this. So, when you stop working, depending on, what your idea of retirement is, for a lot of people, this could mean you're not on your feet as much, you're not as active, which could mean that your body will, deteriorate quicker, you'll lose muscle, your cardiovascular health will decrease, you'll get more sedentary, and these can actually lead to declines in mental health and mobility that are in excess of what you would have if you were in the workforce. And, there's plenty of people who have active retirements and play pickleball and golf and work out a couple times a week and go to yoga classes and all that. This isn't so much for them, but a lot of people, especially people who feel, super burnt out and just want to veg and watch TV and drink wine and do all that, which, perfectly respectable, but it does tend to lead to an increase, I think, in either health complications or health deterioration. And, if that's something you're conscious of going into retirement, I think that can be mainly avoided. But, yeah. On a similar vein to that, I think that there can be kind of a sense of loneliness or loss of meaning. When you retire, you're no longer working, you're no longer being productive, you're actually withdrawing and pulling down on everything you've created. And if you're retiring early, most likely your friends and, people in your social circle are not also retiring early. It tends to be kind of an outlier situation, which means you are at a different point in your life than these other people. They may have families, they may not have the time or resources to do the things that you want to do. Maybe you want to go on a multi-week trip to Europe. Maybe you want to meet up for breakfast at 11 a.m. on a weekday, go to a fitness class or play golf middle of the week. There might not be anyone to do these things with you, and obviously if you have a partner, significant other, that can help to some degree, but you need a social circle, and I think retiring early depending on your community and how close you are with your family and what your social life looks like, some people I think struggle with that. And I say all this as if I have a bunch of anecdotal experience. This has mainly been me kind of reading articles, reading books. I think the book Die With Zero is an amazing book. But also just like Reddit, forums, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, like all that stuff. I've been following finance stuff for a long time, so I feel like I've seen stories about a lot of these feelings and emotions that I'm describing. And then kind of on the more, I guess, economical side, if you're retiring early, you're not going to have Social Security. And if you decide to pull that immediately, it will be a reduced benefit if you're not at full retirement age. So you may end up needing more money to stretch until you get Social Security, or you just might have a lower lifestyle that you'll have to live in general. So that's something to contend with. Some people are fine to just retire early and live a lower lifestyle as long as it means they don't have to work anymore. I don't know if I'd be in that camp. And then health expenses. Health insurance is very expensive, and if you're no longer on a workplace insurance plan prior to you hitting Medicare age, that can be a huge expense for a lot of people that they don't foresee. Now the benefits. Obviously, you get more of an opportunity to rest. People are better about their sleep. They have more time to, do yoga and exercise and all that stuff, if that's stuff that they're into. More time for, quote unquote self-care time, reflection time. You probably feel a little more at peace. You don't have the stress of work. You have freedom to travel and spend time with friends and family. And big one for a lot of people is the ability to pursue hobbies, whether it's sports or exercise or travel or food or woodworking or, who knows what. Those are all amazing reasons to retire early. But I kind of think that a lot of that can be done with a well-balanced life while you're still working. So it's a trade-off. So, solutions to this. I think that getting financial independence, so getting to a point where you don't have to work, but maybe you can increase your lifestyle and keep working, is an option. Or, get to a point that you're okay with and then reduce hours or find a lower stress job or be a contractor to kind of bridge the gap until full retirement. It will give you more, flexibility on your time. It'll probably be a lower stress job. But you still have money coming in. You might not have to draw down on your assets or your nest egg. Or maybe it's a lower withdrawal rate, And I think where my mindset on this right now is that I'd like to get to a stable spot where I either don't have to work, or I could deal with a significant pay cut or, easier, lower stress job. But I honestly envision myself working into my 50s. Right now I'm kind of leaning towards still save plenty of money, but maybe live a little bit more along the way and make sure I'm enjoying experiences that I can look back on. So let's say I retire at 55, but I, get nicer cars and go out more and hang out more with friends, versus retiring at 45, but I had to live a strict budget all the way up until that. And then maybe even then I can't do all the things that I want to do, Maybe I'm fine to work 5 to 10 years longer if it means my quality of life will, in my eyes, be better. Another option is, I don't think I'm at this point yet, but using money to buy time during week or, have luxuries. So whether that's paying for a cleaner, whether it's paying for someone to do your laundry, that's a big thing in urban areas for, people who are working professionals, is that you have your laundry dropped off at some place called a wash and fold. And for a couple dollars a pound, they will wash it, fold it, and a lot of times drop it back on your doorstep, or you just swing by and pick it up. And that can give you back time that you would have spent doing laundry during the week. It's things like that, meal prepped, or Green Chef, or eating out, or stuff like that, Maybe you pay a little bit more to live a little closer life without you having to stop working, but you'll feel better. Another thing is that I don't know where I heard this, but there's a saying called that you want to retire to something, not from something. So if you're retiring from working and you don't have like a destination in mind, it typically doesn't work out for people, or there's a really hard adjustment period. Versus if you have a huge passion for golf and working on cars and kayaking and going to your kids' sports games and traveling and cooking, and you have all these things that you want to retire to be able to do. When you actually retire, you're retiring to those things rather than from work. Because a lot of people that it seems that retire from something just end up, sitting on the couch or kind of being lackadaisical or not doing as much, which is fine if that's what they want, but it's something that I'm not interested in. When I'm 75, 80 years old, I will have plenty of time to watch TV and movies, drink wine and all that, So, for right now, I want to save enough to keep myself on track to retire early if I want to, but I'm guessing that I will kind of start to let off in, I don't know when, a couple years, 5 years, 10 years, depending on, where my financial situation is, what my career is looking like, significant other, things like that, where I'm living, cost of living in that area, etc. My mind could change, the further I get into the career ladder, having, either direct reports or having, bigger business performance responsibilities that might stress me out or keep me up at night, or that I might have to travel too much for, working long hours, things like that. That could definitely play into either a job change, or me shifting my mindset around early retirement, And I do think that's a point that maybe a lot of people get to, is they're just so fed up with the work in those last final years, and they see the finish line, and they're just, they just decide to just chop it at the end if they have to, or if they can, I should say. So, maybe I'll get to a breaking point too, who knows, but I'm trying to lay the groundwork for, a healthy life and financial stability so that I am not in that position down the road, but obviously there's no telling and no knowing where I'll be even a couple years from now. So let me know what you guys thought / think. I feel like I've spent a lot of time thinking on this, and I don't know if thinking about it anymore will really have any benefit, but I always love hearing other people's opinions on it. So please drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you've seen from people you know. If you're retired or, you have some point of view that you think will be interesting, please share. And I'll see you next time.